To me, Irish people are the funniest in the world. They just are.
Oh, this looks amazing.
I just love anything that comes with its own home.
Everyone's a comedian.
Anything else?
Some greens.
What do you think I am? A juggler?
Stunning. Inspirational. Would you look at the brushstrokes on it?
I think the reason I see comedy in everything is because I was surrounded by it growing up.
That's good.
You wouldn't know we're 105.
You're 105.
Do you know what? There's only one word for that. Absolutely cracker.
Hi, how are you?
In Ireland, one of the greatest compliments you can give someone is to describe them as a character.
If you find any pearls, give them to me, okay?
Come on, Slowco! Come on, I'm coming! You couldn't run the length to yourself!
Because as every writer knows, it's the characters you remember long after you've forgotten the story.
Fill your heart with Ireland. Discover more at ireland.com.
Eurogold is driven by being the best civil engineering contractor in the Northwest, ensuring its clients are given the highest level of service that they deserve. Eurogold work in a wide range of industry sectors, including house building, highways, commercial and industrial build.
La Vita is an award-winning, independently run Italian restaurant. Located on Rose Lane in the heart of Liverpool, real Italian-style dishes, using the best ingredients, skillfully prepared by our chefs. Come and try our serious Italian experience.
The Warrington Irish Club. Friendly and welcoming club keeping the Irish culture alive. We have Irish and country music every Saturday night, tribute nights, race nights, charity nights and karaoke. All live sports are shown on big screens. We have snooker, dominoes and crown green bowling teams along with arts and craft. Pop in for a friendly welcome and book your event at the Warrington Irish Club.
Jerry Flynn Events presents the original Beat in the Heat on the Costa del Sol. Now in its 23rd year, the Costa del Dance takes place between the 1st and the 11th of April 2024 at the Hotel Amaragua, Torremolinos. Prices start from £680 sterling or €782 for a 7 or 10 night stay with dinner, bed and breakfast featuring the best in country, Irish, ceilidh and set dancing. To book, phone 01254 445 050 or visit jerryflynnevents.com.
Hello everyone and a very warm welcome to the Irish in the UK. Now on the lead up to St. Patrick's Day there was lots of celebrations taking place all over the country, and later in the show we'll be visiting the Whitaker Museum and Art Gallery in Rawtenstall, Lancashire, where they had a 2-day Irish event celebrating the life and times of Michael Davitt. But first, Sarah Mangan, the Consul General of Ireland and North of England, arranged a special event, gathering and celebration at the Manchester Hall. This was very well attended, and special guest Norma Foley TD, the Minister of Education, gave us a very special speech.
A 100,000 welcomes to you all and happy St. Patrick's Day. You are all very welcome to our St. Patrick's Day celebrations. And thank you so much to Peter for piping us in there. The Fianna Phadraig Pipe Band will be back shortly, but we're going to do some speeches first. We are honoured to have with us tonight a number of civic dignitaries, and I'd like to acknowledge the High Sheriff of Greater Manchester, Mary Elizabeth Walker, Mayor of Trafford, Councillor Dolores O'Sullivan, the Mayor of Stockport, Councillor Graham Greenhull, Mayor of Rochdale, Councillor Margaret Holly, Deputy Mayor of Liverpool, Councillor Kempine, and from over the Pennines, the Mayor of Kirklees, Councillor Cathal Burke. We are honoured to be joined by Mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham, and the leaders of Manchester City Council, Bury Council, Trafford Council, Tameside Council and the Mayor of Salford. So a great turnout. And I also acknowledge a number of members of Parliament who have joined us this evening, including Mike Kane, who will be playing for us later as part of the band. And recognise also a number of councillors from across Greater Manchester and beyond. Your presence here this evening is further confirmation of the importance of the contribution of the Irish community to each of your great cities and boroughs. And it's also a testament to the strong connections between the north of England and Ireland. Thank you very much for being with us. We are delighted to be joined this evening by Irish Minister for Education, Norma Foley, who is visiting Manchester as part of a St. Patrick's Day visit to Britain. She has already been to Edinburgh and Cardiff and was in Huddersfield this morning, and she will travel on to London this evening. So I would like to invite Minister Foley to address you now. Thank you.
It is indeed a very great honour for me, on behalf of the Irish Government, to join you here this evening in Manchester for this wonderful celebration of what it is to be of Ireland and for Ireland, and I am blessed beyond measure to be in your company, and I thank you for your presence. Sarah has very eloquently name-checked everybody in the room, and I did ask her, should I name-check, and she said, you'll never manage it. So I appreciate her honesty. So I'm going to do something that I did previously this morning, actually, when I was in Huddersfield. I'm always conscious when I am in a room with so many dignitaries representing so many different shades of life in an area, whether it's from the world of politics or the world of sport or the world of community. And so we have, in our native language at home, a beautiful phrase which is Gaynor Saville, which means noble people. And so to all of you, for your nobility and for your giftedness to Ireland and of Ireland, I am honoured to be in your company. So Gaynor Saville, thank you for the invitation and the opportunity. My visit over the last number of days and in the coming days also is part of the Irish Government's opportunity to travel far and wide in acknowledgement of more than 70 million people who are of Irish birth scattered across the world in its entirety. And it's quite remarkable that to this day, right across the world, we have people who are celebrating their Irishness. And I'm very conscious that in this room there are people who are Irish by birth, but there are also people who are Irish by gift, and you are equally important to us, whether I was in Edinburgh or Cardiff or this morning in Huddersfield. And I want to say a word actually about this morning in Huddersfield. It was apparently the very first time that a member of the Irish Government has visited in an official capacity, and indeed the very first time that the Irish tricolour has flown at the town hall. Right throughout different parts of this country, people arrived from Ireland under challenging and different and difficult circumstances, and they did arrive with enormous courage and with enormous bravery and with enormous hope and expectation. But the leave-taking was one of sorrow at home. It was one of enormous and extraordinary pain at home. And one of our great poets, Evan Boland, writes about the pain of that leave-taking. And she has two very beautiful lines in a poem where she talks about the inability to recall, the inability to remember or want or desire to remember those who had left because the pain was too great. And she says, like oil lamps, we put them out the back of our houses, of our minds. we could not remember, we did not want to remember. So great was the pain of leave-taking. And I think it is so rich and so wonderful that all these years later, right across the world, we now celebrate and we remember and we take ownership once again of that leave-taking. And we do it because of the extraordinary giftedness of Irish people who worked so hard in so many different circumstances to make their way in the world, as they did here in Manchester, as they did in Huddersfield, working in a variety of different capacities. And they came with hope and expectation, but they came with generosity too, because I have learned that there is very little, either here in Manchester or indeed in Huddersfield or everywhere else that I have travelled in these last number of days, that Irish people have not positively impacted upon. And so it is wonderful to be joined by you who are of Irish extraction and your contribution to the world of politics, and indeed your contribution to the world of culture and arts and literature, and your contribution to sport. It is quite remarkable. My day today involved, as I said, the earlier visit in the morning, but it also involved the opportunity to visit the Irish World Heritage Centre. And there I met so many young people from so many different backgrounds, but all of them excelling in wonder in terms of a capability to dance, and it was Irish dance, to sing, and it was Irish tunes, and just such a great giftedness that has been passed on to these newer and next generations, and all done by so many people who do it generously and lovingly in the name of Ireland. And equally so, I know in the room here tonight, I'm joined by so many people also who have distinguished themselves in the world of sport and have been a great gift, I would think, here to the world of sport. So again, I think that's a great achievement here. And equally so from the world of politics, it was a great opportunity for me to meet with your Mayor, Andy Burnham, here this evening, and again have a great conversation about the contribution of Irish people. And earlier today I met with Enterprise Ireland and a number of Irish companies who are working in the education field here and in Northern Ireland. And again, it's quite remarkable to see that we have a new generation of Irish people who are coming, and they're coming with their skills and their talents, but they're coming knowing that they can come and they can go, unlike those who came previously. And I really do want to acknowledge as well the great opportunity I had to discuss with Councillor Eamon O'Brien, and it was a pleasure to meet with his father as well this evening, and the great work that they're doing in the field of education. And all of us, we will lean in to what you are doing here, and very pleased that you would lean into what we are doing back home in Ireland. I thank you for your fealty, for your loyalty, for your heart for Ireland. It raises us up, and it has raised us up in difficult and challenging times for us as a nation. And we are where we are because those who went before us and travelled further afield sent the money back home, sent the resources back to Ireland so we could survive and so we could be what we are today and take our place on the world stage. We are indebted to you for what you do, for what those who've gone before you have done, and we continue to look forward to your great friendship. And we remember now that those oil lamps can burn brightly because we can remember with great heart, with great spirit, and with great gratitude the contribution of Irish people all over the world. Gurd Mila Mahagan.
All that's left for me to do is to say Happy St. Patrick's Day. Thank you for joining us, and please enjoy your evening. Thank you.
Well done to the Justin Ward-Mallinson School of Irish Dancing, weren't they fantastic, and the Fianna Phadraig Pipe Band for entertaining everybody on the night. It's time for us to take a break, and we'll be back with you in 2 minutes.
To me, Irish people are the funniest in the world. They just are.
Oh, this looks amazing.
I just love anything that comes with its own home.
Everyone's a comedian.
Anything else?
Some greens.
What do you think I am? A juggler?
Stunning. Inspirational. Would you look at the brushstrokes on it?
I think the reason I see comedy in everything is because I was surrounded by it growing up.
That's good.
You wouldn't know we're 105.
You're 105.
Do you know what? There's only one word for that. Absolutely cracker.
Hi, how are you?
In Ireland, one of the greatest compliments you can give someone is to describe them as a character.
If you find any pearls, give them to me, okay?
Come on, Slowcoat! Come in, I'm coming! You couldn't run the length to yourself!
Because as every writer knows, it's the characters you remember long after you've forgotten the story.
Fill your heart with Ireland. Discover more at Ireland.com.
Eurogold is driven by being the best civil engineering contractor in the Northwest, ensuring its clients are given the highest level of service that they deserve. Eurogold work in a wide range of industry sectors, including house building, highways, commercial and industrial build.
La Vita is an award-winning, independently run Italian restaurant. Located on Rose Lane in the heart of Liverpool, real Italian-style dishes, using the best ingredients, skillfully prepared by our chefs. Come and try our serious Italian experience.
The Warrington Irish Club, a friendly and welcoming club keeping the Irish culture alive. We have Irish and country music every Saturday night, tribute nights, race nights, charity nights and karaoke. All live sports are shown on big screens. We have snooker, dominoes and crown green bowling teams along with arts and craft. Pop in for a friendly welcome and book your event at the Warrington Irish Club.
Jerry Flynn Events presents the original Beat in the Heat on the Costa del Sol. Now in its 23rd year, the Costa del Dance takes place between the 1st and the 11th of April 2024 at the Hotel Amaragua, Torremolinos. Prices start from £680 sterling or €782 for a 7 or 10 night stay with dinner, bed and breakfast featuring the best in country, Irish, ceilidh and set dancing. To book, phone 01254 445 050 or visit jerryflynnevents.com.
Welcome back. Now we're off to the Whitaker Museum and Art Gallery in Rawtenstall, Lancashire, where they were having a 2-day Irish event celebrating the life and times of Michael Davitt, one of Ireland's greatest patriots. Again, I know you're always busy here at the Whitaker, but just bring me up to date what's happening at this moment in time.
Well, we are always very busy, Martin, as you know, with a very exciting programme here at the Whitaker. So we have all of our usual collections, museum objects on display, our visual art exhibitions that change all the time. And I know you've been to visit those before. But we're very much looking forward to, at the moment, our big celebration of St. Patrick's Day next weekend, and in particular celebrating Michael Davitt and his life, because, of course, Michael grew up here in Haslingden.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that you're working very, very hard to intertwine here with Michael Davitt here and Michael Davitt, of course, back in Ireland.
Well, yes, because I lived in Ireland for many, many years in County Mayo and worked for the arts service there, so I knew that the museums and galleries over there. And so I was always very taken with the Michael Davitt Museum and the story of Michael Davitt and what he achieved in his lifetime. And so it was interesting for me moving back to the UK and coming to work here in Haslingden at the Whitaker, and of course the huge connection we have here where Michael grew up, but maybe the story not being quite so well known here, and so we really wanted to celebrate Michael and what he achieved in his lifetime, and to celebrate the fact that he grew up here in Haslingden and developed a lot of his political thinking while he was living here in Haslingden.
Now I know, which is very interesting, you've actually exchanged some, what could I say, like special stone from Michael Davitt in Mayo over here and vice versa.
We have, yeah. We've been working with an artist, Noah Rose, who lives in Galway, and he's been doing some work with us and with the Davitt Museum in Mayo, and he's doing some beautiful stone carving, doing poetry in stone. And we've exchanged some stone from here in Haslingden that's gone to the Michael Davitt Museum, and a piece of stone from there has come over here, and Noah is out there finishing off his stone carving today, ready for installation for our weekend celebrating St Patrick's Day.
Noah, I believe you've been heavily involved in the exchange of those stones from Straide in County Mayo over here to the Whitaker in Haslingden.
That's correct, and also the other way around. So I'm doing two different related projects, both about Michael Davitt. And I'm working with the Davitt Museum in Straide in County Mayo and the Whitaker Museum here in Rawtenstall. And so the idea was that obviously because of Davitt's life story, he came from Mayo and came here, and so much of everything that followed on his life was kind of influenced by his time in Haslingden. And so I started with a quote from Mary McAleese, who came to Haslingden and unveiled a memorial on the centenary of Michael Davitt's death. And the quote, which is a fantastic comment, I think, she said, "May those who drink the water never forget the debt they owe to those who dug the well." And I love this. It's pure poetry, and it sums up so much, I think, of Davitt's legacy and his impact and his influence on so many people. So I've spent time in both of the museums in both places. I live very close to the Davitt Museum on the Mayo-Galway border, and the thinking was to carve the stone, the quote, the Mary McAleese quote, and also a quote from Michael Davitt, into stone by hand. And I've already made one piece of the project, if you like, which is for the museum in Straide, in which I took a piece of stone that was from Baxenden Mill, Stelfox Victoria Mill in Baxenden, where Michael Davitt worked and where he lost his arm as a child. And that mill's long gone now, but there was a piece of stone that was retrieved by Dave Robinson, one of the fantastic volunteers here at the Whitaker. And I took that piece of stone back to Ireland. I carved it on one side with a Mary McAleese quote, on the other with a quote from Michael Davitt. And I've made a kind of sculptural steel frame for it, which will give it a kind of permanent home inside the Michael Davitt Museum. At the same time, I've taken a piece of stone, or two pieces of stone, from the Davitt Museum and brought it here to the Whitaker, and I'm now carving the same quote from Mary McAleese, but this time I'm going to carve it into several pieces of stone, including the stone from the Michael Davitt Museum, and I'm going to arrange them in a kind of little poetic walking trail around the new sculpture garden at the back of the museum here. This is my working sketch, really showing how the stones will be laid out in the sculpture garden at the back of the Whitaker. It's a very rough sketch. I did it when it was raining, so it was quick. But there's 5 large pieces of stone which act as kind of benches or pedestals, and they're already dotted around the path. And I'm going to be fixing the pieces of carved stone that I'm carving now to each one of these pedestals, so people will be able to sit and, on a sunny day, be able to sit down and run their fingers over the carved letters or whatever, or on a rainy day, just to see the stones essentially put on plinths like a little sculpture. And each one of these has a lovely view, a different view, looking out over the museum and out to the hills beyond and so on. And I think it'll just work really nicely to follow the quote from Mary McAleese through from stone to stone, going around the path like this.
We're having a tour both days, a walking tour of Davitt's Haslingden, looking at all the key sites and places in the area that were important to Michael and his life. We've got family workshops and activities going on, from weaving to protest banner making. Noah, the artist, will be doing demonstrations of his stone carving and unveiling the work that he's created. We've got the Fianna Phadraig Pipe Band here on Saturday the 16th, and we're really excited to have them here with us. We've got the traditional Irish session musicians here on the Saturday late afternoon as well, coming to play the music. And we're really delighted that on the 17th, We've got Yvonne, who is the curator from the Michael Davitt Museum in Mayo, is going to be over here with us, and she's going to give us a guided virtual tour of the Davitt Museum, and then she's going to take part in a fascinating panel discussion with other experts who are going to talk about Michael all afternoon, and we're going to explore his life, his vision, what he achieved in his life. So there really is something for everyone, from families and children to academics or art lovers. There's something going on for them all weekend.
When this stone is installed here at the Whitaker, I think it'll mean so much to the community here, because, as we all know, Michael Davitt was hugely popular here.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I think, you know, there's a specific story about this one man who came from a small village in County Mayo and how he became this incredibly pivotal character in Irish history. But there's also a bigger story in general, I think, about Irish emigration to this part of the world and really all over the north of England. You know, the Industrial Revolution attracted many people from all over the place, but specifically a lot of Irish people who were forced by evictions and by the Great Hunger and so on to leave their homeland and to come here. And I think the legacy of the sort of Irish pattern of emigration into the north of England is still very much with us today. And we see that in the societies that formed in Hasingdon, for instance, the Irish Democratic League there, and you know, I think just the sense that the Irish community in this part of the world has of very much being connected to its roots still.
We have a wonderful Irish community living here, and of course, for those who don't know his story, Michael's family were evicted and had to move over to the UK, and they walked here from Liverpool. They walked all the way to Haslingden, and Michael was only 4.5 at the time, and he worked in the local mill, and he lost his arm here working in the mill, and it was a result of that Michael ended up getting an education, and he had got a place at a school, and that's where he developed his lifelong interest in supporting people and people who are oppressed. So he's got a real big place in people's hearts here, and rightly so. I think a lot of people are very proud that Michael did grow up here.
And of course, he'd done a lot for the Irish people at home as well, people that was evicted from their homes and from their land in days gone by.
Exactly. I mean, he formed the Land League, which was a major moment in Irish history, and he travelled the world, I mean, spreading his message and supporting other people worldwide. But he was also an MP, he was a journalist, he wrote books, so his story is really fascinating.
Carving this stone takes a lot of time and patience. So how long of a project is it, and when are you hoping to actually have it installed that people can come and see it?
Well, I can tell you the second part first, because it has to be installed by St Patrick's Day. In fact, it has to be installed the day before, because that's when we have the Irish Consul General coming here to unveil it. So so the end of next week, this piece of work will be finished and installed in the Whitaker Museum. It will be permanently on display, so anybody who comes to the Whitaker Museum in the future can see this piece of work. And then when I go back to Ireland the week after, I'm taking the other piece of work to the Michael Davitt Museum in Straide, which is then going to be installed there. So both pieces of work will be available really from the end of March.
That you're always busy here at the Whitaker, and you've got other things going on as well.
Oh, we have. We've always got things going on. We're always doing things with the collections. We're actually changing over our exhibitions next week, so we're going to have brand new exhibitions from local artist Caroline Johnson and also from Leanna Lang. But if you check our What Song Guide, you'll find workshops, masterclasses, object handling events. We just don't stop, Martin.
Gaynor, you're a busy lady. We wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you so much, and thanks for coming to see us again.
History has been created by the exchange of those two beautiful engraved stones between Mayo and Rawtenstall, and it's great to see that Michael Davitt's memory is never forgotten. We'll be back with you next week. Take good care.